So I'm going to open up the Your Own one. So I'm going to click on one, hold shift, click on, no, actually that won't work for this. I'm going to go into Illustrator and go File, Open, or Command O, Control O on Windows, and go into my Exercise 3 folder and my Pen Tool X files like the show, and I'm going to just click on, not so much like the show, it sounds like the show. I'm going to click on one, hold down shift, click the other, and click open, so they both open together, tabbed together. So one of these needs to be symmetric and one of these needs to be asymmetric. For these, you can do, let's see, for these you can use text as well, and you can use shapes as well, but I'd like you to do something with the pen tool after all of your hard work learning the pen tool. Now it's time to use your skills to do your own shape. And some people ask, am I supposed to go around the images pictured here? No, you don't have to do that. Some people take that as a challenge and they like to go around her curls, but you get to make whatever shape you want. Just one of the shapes needs to be symmetric and one needs to be asymmetric. So maybe I'll start with the symmetric on, maybe I'll put the symmetric on this one. Maybe I'll do a butterfly or something. Let's see. Should I do a butterfly or a flower? What do you want to see? I guess I'll go with a butterfly. So, and I want to use text too. So on these ones that are called Your Own, if we look at what's in the layers, I'm going to just adjust my panel options again here. You'll see that in the Your Own, it's all on layer 1. I can flip layer 1 open and you'll see there's only 2 items in this one, whereas the other ones have 3 items because it includes the template. This one's just the picture and the rectangle path. So leave it locked until you're done creating your own shapes or shape. Remember, if you do more than one shape, what are you gonna need to do to make the clipping mask reveal in all of your shapes? You need to create what? What's it called? It's called a compound path, to combine multiple paths into one object or one sublayer, which you can release later on. If you, at any time you can release a compound path, which hopefully I'll get to show you that too. Okay, so I'm going to use text. So I'm going to take the type tool and start and think of a word that's symmetric. Some words are symmetric. So I'm going to click to use the type tool to drop in point type. As soon as I start using the type tool in properties, I'll have the character panel, so I can increase the size of the font with the little type option here. You could use the drop down and increase the size here, or you can type in a specific number that you want. And it's dropping in placeholder text that's traditionally Latin that designers use when they don't have the actual writing yet, but they want to start putting in the text and creating the layout. And this is called lorem ipsum, the first 2 words of the placeholder text in Latin. I'm going to just, well, it's highlighted, I'm just going to type over it with a symmetric word, M-O-M, which is fitting for this scene here. She's got a little baby there. Mom. So I'm gonna scale this out now with my selection tool. Because I just clicked to drop in this as point text, I can scale it with my selection tool and it'll change the size of the text and change the font by scaling. I'm gonna hold shift and scale it out. And this is Myriad Pro. I can change the style to be bold maybe. Myriad Pro is a good one for symmetric, because if I choose Myriad Pro is a plain font. It doesn't have the little tips that alter the characters and make the characters a little bit more easy to read or distinguish. These distinguishing tips you see, we call these tips, like in this Minion variable concept font, we see those tips there. That anyone know what those little tips are called? Little feet on the letters? These are called serif. So this is a serif font, and the fonts that are plain, like Myriad, are sans serif. So this is going to be a more symmetric font than this one is not actually symmetric, because you see the characters are not actually mirroring each other. So I'll just go to Acumen is another one that's in this Myriad here. I'll go with Myriad. But you can hover over to choose, or maybe this one. I like this one, Abadi. We'll go with this one. And then I'll scale it bigger, holding shift, or I could stretch it and change the proportions if I want. Okay, so I'll go with that for my text. And if I unlock the image, I'll just unlock the image, I can make a clipping mask just with text. But for this assignment, I want you to not do it just with text, but I can select text and I can shift click the image and right click, make clipping mask, and you can put an image in text like that in a font. But if I want to add other shapes and have the clipping mask and have the image show through in a clipping mask into other shapes as well, then I can't make a clipping mask just with the type. So I'm gonna right click and release the clipping mask. And what I need to do is I need to turn this type into shapes. So that it will be able to combine in a compound path. So if I go to if I select the type and I go to type, I can choose create outlines, and it'll turn the type into vector shapes that are outlined. You see, when I select my direct selection tool, you'll see the anchor points around each letter. And now, let me undo that though. Let me undo. So this is what it looks like as just the type, the font that's displayed because of the font that I have installed on my computer. If I delete that font or I move to another computer that doesn't have that font, I could lose the appearance of this font. A good reason to go type create outlines is to preserve the appearance when you go onto another computer. Like if you send it off to be printed somewhere, a safe way to ensure that you're gonna that they're gonna be able to print your font as you want it to be displayed is to create outlines. So it will be your type is going to be just listed in your sublayers like this on one level, and it will make a clipping mask if you want. But what I need to do is I need to go to select the type, go to type, create outlines, and see now it becomes a group of objects. So a group is not going to work to make a clipping mask. So if you select a group and you shift click the image, you right click, make clipping mask, it's going to be an unhappy clipping mask. It's not going to show up, and the image isn't going to show through. So I'm going to undo that. But what I can do is I can either ungroup it and turn it into a compound path, or I can actually turn it into a compound path while it's grouped, and that'll also work. But I'm going to just leave it as a group for now and then get to work on my other shapes because I want to make a butterfly under this. So I'm going to make sure that the image is locked, and I'm going to take my pen tool and click, because I'd like you to use your pen tool for your own ones. And I'm going to click drag. Oops, it's kind of stalling here. And click, I'm making the wings, click drag for a curve. And I could also, while I'm in the middle of clicking and dragging, if I notice that I'm placing my point somewhere a little off, I can hold the space bar and adjust where I'm placing my point. So I'm holding the space bar, and then I can release the space bar, and then I can release my mouse, and then I can close my shape here. And just to save time, let me just adjust it with my direct selection tool on some of the points to adjust the curve a little bit. And then go to my selection tool, and I'll just option drag out a duplicate. I can right click and transform and reflect along, not the vertical, but the horizontal. No, actually, I like it like that. The vertical's fine. So I'm going to say okay. Maybe make this one a little bigger, stretch it out a little to be different. And then I'm going to just, now I need to make the body of this little butterfly. So I'm going to take the pen tool and do kind of like half. So I'm going to start with the click here, click drag for a curve. I'm going to kind of line up using my smart guides with a click, maybe not quite lining up. Let me go here, click, and then I'll come out here and do a curve for the midsection. It's an insect, so it's got to have 3 parts, right? So then I'm going to do a line up with the top. Maybe not line up with the click, drag here, and then I'm going to hold down Option and swing the handle out, and then come all the way down to the bottom and line up with my first point on the very top and click and drag. So then I want to select this and right click it and transform and reflect, and it's reflecting across the vertical, and I'm going to choose copy. So now I have 2 halves that I can put together and zoom way in. I'm going to zoom in with my zoom tool here, and then I can just make sure that the points that are lined up together. I can drag a marquee around those top 2 points and hit Command J to join, and go down and select around the bottom 2 points, Command J to join, and then I want to do a little antenna. So I'm going to take my pen tool and do this as a, let me just deselect everything, Command Shift A, and then I'm going to draw a stroke this time. So I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to click, maybe hold down Shift to make this a perfect 45-degree angle, click, and then come up here and line up with my first point here, click. And one cool thing that you can do, is you can put arrowheads on the ends of your strokes. So I'm going to go into Properties and bring up from Properties I can access my stroke panel by clicking on the little word stroke there. And notice there's a little arrowhead section. So if I have these arrow options, but I don't want an arrow on the end of my antenna. I want a cute little circle. So they actually have circles that you can put on the ends. And then you can scale the circles differently. Maybe I'll make the stroke weight thicker and then scale the circle down smaller with the scale option. So it'll be maybe 40, 45, no, 40, 43 is good. And then I can do the same thing on the other side. So I go to the other side. So you can put arrows, all different types of arrowheads, and then scale them. But I don't want an arrow, I want a cute little circle, so I'm going to go, and they have like the ending, the end of the arrow, but I want to choose the circle. So I choose the circle, and I'll make it also 43. Press return or tab to apply that. And so I've got my little antenna there. Oops. Maybe I want to just change the angle a little bit, so I'll select that middle point and just tap it down with my arrow key a little bit like that, and then I'll move this up. But the thing is, if you're adding strokes, lines, and you want to put it all together in a compound path, it won't work. So what do I have to do? I need to outline this into filled shapes. So I select this. This is a stroke with little circles on the end. So I go to Object, Path, and then I can do Outline Stroke. And now it's like filled shapes that are grouped together. And that should work. It might be better to just combine these into one, so I could do that with Pathfinder. Pathfinder has the Unite button, so I could unite this all into one clean shape because the circles became separate shapes. But now with the Unite button, it's all one clean shape. That'll make it easier. And then just to make sure that the antenna is lined up to the butterfly body, I can select the antenna, hold down shift and shift click the butterfly body, and then I can access my align panel options here and center align them together and hit Command G to group. You can group things and then combine them all into a compound path and it'll work. So that's together. Let me just make sure these wings are aligned. If they're off like that, then I can always select them together and then use the align to the right to align them to the right. And then I can hit Command G to group this together, and I can right click this, transform, reflect, click copy. Then I've got another set of wings, and I can make sure that these are lined up together, like center align. Oops, wait a minute, that didn't work. Select the wings here, select, let's say they're misaligned, so select these wings, and I'm going to hold shift, and I guess I didn't shift click them, and then I'm going to center them together, and let me just nudge this over with my arrow key or shift arrow so the spacing is not even between these three groups, so I can select all three and use my second row on the align panel I can get to by clicking the dot dot dot, and then I can distribute the spacing evenly. Horizontal distribute center space, and then I'll hit Command G and group that. And so that's a group, and the mom is a group. Let's say wait, though this isn't grouped yet. Let's see, click, I'm gonna shift click each item and hit Command G. Is it grouped now? Let's see, with one click it's all selected. So let's say I centered this butterfly where I want it, I centered it to the, it's set to align to artboard, so I'm gonna align it to the artboard in the middle. And then let's say I wanted the word mom to be aligned to the butterfly. I like where the butterfly is, I want mom to be aligned to it. So I select mom, I shift click, let me just adjust this here. So I shift click the butterfly, and now what I want to do is I want the butterfly to stay in place. I don't want that to move, so I need to set it as a key object. So without pressing any key, I just click the butterfly one more time. It gets highlighted as the key object, and automatically it gets set as a key object, and you'll see that in that it's already automatically set as aligned to key object. You'll see a little key icon displayed in your align to options. You can also bring up your align panel here like this, and it's set to, oh wait a minute, that's weird that this align panel isn't set correctly, but this one is. So we'll hope that it's going to align to key object so that mom will line up centered to the butterfly. So I'm just going to click on horizontal align center from the align panel here, and it jumps there in place. So now what I need to do, my final step, because I've got all these separate paths and groups, what do I need to do to make the clipping mask? I need to just hit Command 8, right? Or Object, Compound Path, Make, to make a compound path. So this is all one sub-layer. So now I can follow the steps, unlock all, select my compound path, hold down shift click my image. So the two items are selected, and Command 7 to make the clipping mask, and then you can open the clip group, target the image, move that around to adjust it how you want. You can scale it if you want to make it fit it how you want it. And then you could also center align the entire thing in the middle, the whole clip group. You can align center to the artboard if you want. And then save it. Just do File, Save As. And this is gonna be in my finished pen tool exercise files. And I'm just gonna name it the same name, last name, first initial, X 3 dash, whatever order I'm doing this in. 4, doesn't matter. Let's see, delete. Oh, it's not letting me. What's going on? Changing the number here. It's 4. Okay, going to my finished as a PDF. Save PDF. And that one's done. And then the other one, I would do something asymmetric, and you can include text and all that. But I'll just do a very quick asymmetric. You just take it off caps lock here. Like an asymmetric shape, for example, like the profile of a duck. So I'll do that. So I'm going to just click drag for curve, click drag, and I just click drag here, and I'm going to hold Option and swing my handle up. So this is where you get to practice or demonstrate the skill you've been practicing. And if you still don't feel comfortable with this, that's okay. You're going to get there. Pen tool takes time. I left my fill on. That's fine. You can leave your fill on if it doesn't bother you. I'm just going to make some feathers, click and drag, and I'm going to hold Option and swing my handle up. So you can create whatever you want. That's why it's called your own. You get to create your own shape. Like, just practice the skill. And I made a funny little feathery tail there. And then click and drag. There's no right, no wrong for this. Click and drag to make curves. Clicking and dragging. Clicking and dragging to make curves. Click to make corners and straight lines. And here I'm going to click and drag here. And then come around here and do like a click drag here. This is kind of looking... Okay, and then I'm going to click and drag here, but I want to corner between curves. So I hold Option and swing my handle around. Oops, I think I accidentally clicked where I didn't want to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hit Command Z and try that again. Click and drag, Option swing, and I can go to where my first point is and close my shape there, clicking and dragging. Then I can take my direct selection tool and just kind of adjust the points to make corrections. You can always make corrections. It's very forgiving that way. You can like adjust how you want. And so now I've made this funny looking duck shape, so I can select my path, unlock all, Command Option 2. Let me just deselect first. Select my path, hold shift click my image, right click, make clipping mask. And then you can target, select, adjust the image. I think I can do that with the direct selection tool too. By selecting the image, you can move it around. You could also select the path and continue to make adjustments. And when you are done, then you just go File, Save As, and just put it in your finished folder. Just name it the same as always, last name, first initial, dash EX 3 dash whatever number we're on here. Let's see. Oops, I messed up the naming on one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this would be, this is already 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be 5. 5. And then save it as a PDF. Save PDF. And then you're ready to, if you want to do the extra credit, you're going to want to combine all of those. Let me just fix this number here. So this was EX 3-4. So I made it through 5 of these. There are 2 more that you guys will have to just do without me, but I have faith that you can figure it out and make your own decisions with the pen tool now. So what I'm going to do is just a quick demo on combining. So I'm going to Acrobat, and in the instructions it has how to do this if you want the extra credit. For extra credit, you go from Adobe Acrobat, you go File, hover over Create, and choose Combine Files into a single PDF, and then you can click to add the files and choose them on your computer, or if you already have them open like I do in a Finder window here, then you can select the files that you want to put in. You can, I'm going to click on one, shift click the bottom of the stack. I'm just going to drag them and drop them in, and then you can go to your icon view or your list view and change the order if you want, moving up or down, or I like to be in icon view, and you can change the order by dragging them around to change the order if you want to change the order. And then you just click on, there are options for setting too. The smallest file size is fine, you can just leave the defaults, and then click combine, and then it'll combine all 7 of your exercises into one document here that I'll be able to scroll through. And so all you need to do is turn in that one file, and you'll get the regular credit and the extra credit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save this, because it's not saved when it's named binder. Oh, not again, darn it. So you just save that. Let me try that. Let me see if it will work, because something's been going wrong with my Acrobat. So let's try this again. So file, so Acrobat file, create, combine files into single PDF, and then I'll add the files, and I'll combine the files. And then I'm going to go File, Save, and then I can choose a location that I want to save to. If I don't see a location here that I want to save to, I can click Choose a different folder, and then I can name this. This is what you name this to turn it in. Your last name followed by your first initial dash EX3. You don't have to have a number, because this is all of the 7 documents all in one. And save it where you'll remember where it is. So I'm going to save it here to the folder for the class, and it's going to save there. And then it'll be there here. It's a multi-page PDF that has all the documents in there, and then that's the only one you need to turn in. And if you turn in just one document with all of your exercises combined, then you get the credit, the 10 points credit, plus the extra credit, the additional 5 points. So let me get out of this and go to the assignment, and then I go to exercise 3, and I click submit assignment, and then all I have to do is choose that one file. So click choose file. If you don't do the extra credit, then you have to choose 7 files and then submit. So I'm going to find it in the folder for the class. It's the one that's exercise 3. That's the one. And then I click open, and then I click submit assignment. And I got something from chat here. Okay, so I got a question about, you said we can use any picture. Yeah, I get a confetti party because I turned it in on time. So can we use any picture that we want for the clipping mask, you mean?
Yes, yes, the clipping mask.
Yes, if you have to be careful though, because if you aren't familiar with, you're gonna have to place the image, and it's a lesson that I'm gonna teach for next time. So if you're confident how to do that, because if you're gonna use your own pictures, make sure you place the image not linked but embedded. And if that sounds like a different language, and if you don't know what that means, then just wait for next week when I go over that, and then you can always release the clipping mask and delete the image that I provided, and use your own image.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Because it's a great type of like portfolio piece that you could use with your own image, and even better if you shoot your own photography to make it even more original. But you can always choose images, and we'll talk all about choosing images online for the next project for next week. All right, thanks everyone.